Hello, everyone. My guest today is Amir Salihefendić. He views life differently ever since his family fled war-torn Bosnia for Denmark, and he began to see the world becoming truly borderless. That worldview influences his mission to change the future of work as founder and CEO of Doist, a fully distributed bootstrapped company that creates productivity tools used by over 13 million people globally. Amir, you ready to take us to the top?
Let's do this. Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. So if folks have not heard, it's doist.com, doist.com. What are you guys doing? What's your average customer using you for?
Yeah, so we have like a task management app, one of the most popular to-do apps called Todoist. And then we have also recently, like some years ago, actually launched a team communication app, asynchronous team communication app called Twist. So basically Todoist and Twist are our core products. Yeah.
So give us the backstory. When did you launch Doist? What year?
Yeah, I mean, I launched it for my own usage in 2007. So, I just created like my background is development. So I created a to-do list and then I kind of stick to it and coded on it for many years. And then I actually co-founded a social network in between. And then this social network didn't really work out. So I went back and worked on my to-do list. Yeah. So
what years did you work on the social network?
From like 2007 to 2010. Yeah.
Okay. And then, so this was sort of a side project in your evenings. And then after 2010, you shut the network down and you said, I'm going to go back on Doist.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah. So, I mean, it's just like my passion project, and most developers kind of start with a to-do list. Not many continue doing that for like over 10 years. So that's basically what I have done. Yeah.
So what year did you get your first paying customer in?
On the first year, actually, like in the first couple of months, because like I was doing this on the side and I didn't want to pay for the like server costs. So I just like, let's just make the reminders a paid feature.
But was this 2007 or 2010?
Yeah. 2007. Yeah.
Okay. So who was it? Do you remember where you found your first customer?
I had a popular blog. So I was a blogger, and so basically most of the first customer were via my blog.
What was the blog URL?
Amix.dk. Yeah, it's kind of like some of the stuff I'm not really super proud of, because like sometimes I would just like drink and then come home and write something stupid.
Okay, wait. So it's it's amix.dx.
Amix.dk. So Finnish domain name. Yeah.
Can you send that to me on the chat here on Riverside? I'd love to check that out as we're chatting. So, okay, so you use that community blog to get it going, and then after that, help me understand today how people are using the tool. And maybe start with sort of what they're paying on average. Or you strike me as a low ARPU, high volume, no touch play. Is that accurate?
Yeah, I mean, we have like hundreds of thousands of customers, and most of them pay like the lifetime value is like. I would say about like 100 or something like that. So it's like very, very low. But we have like a lot of volume. And honestly, like we still lack kind of like the multiplayer aspect. So we have kind of like figured out like the single player mode, because Todoist is used a lot by individuals. And I think like when we actually figure out like the multiplayer mode, and then I think the magic will happen, because we basically have like millions of active users, using this. Yeah.
Well, so let me break all that down though. So instead of giving me a lifetime value number, when people sign up for Doist, what do they pay you per month on average? It's like $5 or $6.
Yeah, I mean it's like a freemium model. So we have a very powerful free version, and then we have a like premium version that's I think it's like $5 per month, and then like if you pay yearly, it's $4. Yeah. So
okay.
It's very low. Yeah.
So there's only one pricing plan. Everyone pays $5 a month.
Yeah, we also have like Todoist for business, but it's kind of like, I mean, it's a huge hack. Actually, like we kind of like, it was an afterthought, and then we are kind of like trying to improve that now. But we have basically created this, like, I think we spent 3 months, and it basically had generated like 30% or more of our revenues for many years now, and we have not really improved it. So
your enterprise tool?
I mean, it's not really an enterprise tool. It's basically like if you want to buy premium for your employees, then you would use Todoist for business. Yeah. So.
And what do you charge for that?
It's $1 higher. So yeah, So it's like about $49 per year, or like $5 or $6 per month. Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
I'm actually not, like, we have updated our pricing maybe a year ago, so it's something in that range. Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're fine. I'm just trying to, so I want to understand the story here. So basically between 2007 and 2019, you only had one price point. It was $5 a month.
Yeah. And honestly, like, I set this initially like very low price point, and basically all the other competitors copy this, or like, so I kind of like, because we were like one of the first online to do apps, and we basically set the price point, and everybody's kind of have the same price point. And I don't think like they were probably like, what does this charge? And then they basically like do price similar to us.
So let's go back to the,
unfortunate.
let's go back to the customer growth story. So you use your blog to get your first customer. What year did you pass 100 customers? Do you remember?
I mean, honestly, like, it was a side project for me, so I didn't really care about the numbers like that much. I basically cared like, is this actually covering the server costs? And it actually made some profit, but it was like a few $1,000 per month, maybe. So it was like very, very like small scale in the beginning.
No, I understand that though. But do you remember what year, even as a side project, what year you passed sort of 100 or 200 customers?
I did that like, I think in the first like 6 months, because I already had like a lot of like traction, or like people were really excited about this. So a lot of them just paid.
So by the end of 2007, what you're saying is this was generating a couple $1,000s per month in profit, and you had over 200 customers.
Yeah. Something
That's great.
like that, yeah.
And you still, it was just you on the team, or was there multiple people?
I mean, it's just me. Yeah. So I did the support, the marketing, the design, the development, everything.
You're a one-man.
Yeah.
One-man machines. So when did you hire your first employee?
In 2011. Yeah. So like 4 years in.
Okay. And how many people did you have at the end of 2011?
I mean, once I kind of like went full time on this, I kind of began to hire more rapidly. So right now, like we're about, I think 85 people, maybe 90, because we are hiring more now.
How many?
Initially, most are engineers, so like probably 50 engineers.
Okay.
We don't have any salespeople, so yeah.
That's great.
Yeah.
Do you remember, because you're 90 people today, 50 engineers. Back in 2012, do you remember what the team size was at the end of the year?
It's a very good question. I mean, initially, like we actually ramped up. So I probably hired maybe 5 to 10 people initially. And then we kind of like integrated those people in. And then we created like mobile apps, like native mobile apps. And then after that, we hired a bunch of more. And then we kind of struggled for a bit to kind of...
What year was the mobile apps?
It's probably like 2013 or 14. Yeah. So we were actually very late to the market with these.
But you launched the Doist mobile app in 2013.
Todoist mobile apps, native mobile apps in 2013. Maybe.
And you said you struggled. What do you mean by struggled?
I mean, we basically hired more people, and we didn't really become more productive. We actually became less productive because we didn't really have the structure in place to actually make people productive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So what was the team size? Let's just go to 2015.
Like I think probably we ramped up to like about 40 or 50 people, and that's where we actually struggled to kind of like I think actually we got a lot less productive than when we were like 10 or 20. Yeah.
And are you measuring that off like revenue per employee or something like that?
I mean, just like shipping, like we didn't ship anything. So yeah, like we struggle a lot to ship between probably like 2015 and maybe 16 and 17. So it's only like in the last 2 years that we actually like reset this and began to ship and change stuff. Also something is like there was a lot of like legacy crap because I basically did this as a side project, so a lot of the choices that I made initially weren't really the smartest ones. Yeah.
So between 2015 and 2018, you guys were really paralyzed, really, because you were rewriting the code base to take out technical debt. And just in 2018, you started shipping again.
Yeah, that's probably the right way. And also just like creating the structure and like, like getting people productive. Like also like we experiment a lot and questioned. So like we also had like a love affair with like no hierarchy, and that didn't like don't try that. Like it's not
Didn't
really
work.
worked. It didn't work that well. Yeah.
And so let's keep going down the customer. We understand sort of the team struggles and growth. Well, let's go back to sort of customers. So 200 customers in 2007, your first year. It's a side project. You're making a couple grand a month in profits. You're covering your AWS or your server spend, et cetera, if that was even around back then. When did you pass, your first, 10,000 customers? What year? Do you remember?
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like the thing to note is like we never actually celebrated any of the milestones. So even right now, like when we pass like 1 million or 10 million in ARR, like it's kind of like not really something that we celebrate a lot. And the same thing like with customer numbers, it's like I really didn't track that much, and I didn't really care that much about it. So I think like it's kind of like very different from most of other founders that kind of are like hawks, on the numbers.
Well, I think just because you don't celebrate something doesn't mean that it's not important to document your story, right, as a business case study for future, which is what I'm trying to do. So I totally get it wasn't a focus, and you didn't pop champagne and wine bottles. But general, I mean, some general customer numbers in terms of as you were growing would be helpful, especially if you're in the hundreds of thousands right now. I mean, do you remember the year you were around 10,000?
Yeah, I mean, something that really accelerated a lot our growth was basically the native mobile apps. So probably I would say that like because if you look at our growth curve, it's basically like almost flat from like when it's kind of a side project for me. And then when we begin to ramp up, it's kind of like the native mobile apps, like hiring the team. And that's where also like the whole, like most of the customer growth comes in as well. Yeah.
So do you think you passed 10,000 customers in 2015?
We passed that before, probably like 2012 or 13, like when we
okay, and then the mobile app goes live in 2015. So the mobile app then gets adopted 2015, 2016, 2017. Do you remember, when did you pass 100,000 customers?
Yeah, I mean, I could actually maybe look that up, but
I know you don't know them by heart because you guys don't celebrate them, which is fine. I'm just looking for, are we talking like 2015 or 2018?
Yeah, I can look this up. So
okay.
Let me actually try to do that.
Okay, great. And we'll sort of keep chatting as you're doing that. So you're building, you're building Doist, again, launched in 2007 as a side project. You're scaling. You hired some people and started scaling really in 2015, and you started shipping things like the mobile application, which helped drive a lot of growth, even as you were dealing with a lot of technical debt. You've done all this bootstrapped, correct?
Yeah. We didn't raise any money, and we still have not raised any money.
Wait. Love that, which means you're profitable, correct? You're not burning cash?
I mean, we have actually been profitable like from like all the years. Yeah.
Now, when you say profitable, are you basically at break even, you reinvest everything, or you as founder helping create like personal wealth because you're really like 20, 30% EBITDA margins per month?
I mean, the thing is like the general strategy has been to kind of like reinvest everything back to the company. I have, of course, like taken some money off the table over the years, but it's not like, I'm not DHH that kind of like,
And do you still own 100% of the company?
We are actually like rolling out the like employee stock options right now, but like I own most of it, and the employees will own in the end, I think 25%. That's
35%?
And 25.
25. Okay, that's great. And you just set up that 25% kind of employee option pool this year in 2020?
Exactly. Yeah. So that's basically it. Yeah.
And why did you decide this year was the right year to do that?
I mean, honestly, like I think, I was kind of like against this, like the bootstrapping, especially like if you like hear the Basecamp guys, like equity has no value and stuff like that. But it's kind of bullshit because like equity is like, if you want to get wealthy, it's through equity. And I think it's kind of like a way to align people as well on just like building something bigger, and also just to reward people. Like there has like a lot of actually of our team have been with this for like over 5 years. And I don't really think it's like fair for myself only to make myself like wealthy. I also want to do the same thing for other people.
No, it makes a lot of sense. Do you have that customer number up? What year did you guys pass 100,000?
I don't actually, but I mean, I would probably say like 2015 or 16 or something like that. Yeah.
Okay. And do you have eyes on passing 1 million paid customers, or is that really going to be a stretch in the next year or two?
I mean, the thing is basically like we want to pass like 100 million in revenues in the next 5 years, or like it's right now probably more like 4.5 years. So that's kind of like the goal, and it's basically like finding out like the strategy to achieve that.
Yeah. And what are you at right now in terms of revenue?
Yeah, I mean, I think like this year we'll probably pass 15 and maybe a bit more if we are lucky. And next year, I think we'll definitely pass like 20. That's at least the plan.
No.
Depending on like how.
What'd you finish 2019 with?
I think it's about, I'm actually not 100%, but probably around 10. Yeah.
Well, that's great. So you basically have grown over the past 12 months from a $10 million run rate to a $14 million run rate bootstrapped.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's amazing. Yeah, but you need to be on the cover of like the Wall Street Journal and TechCrunch. The bootstrap, good growth. This is how you build a SaaS company that actually generates real wealth.
Yeah. But honestly, like I think like the opportunity is huge in this market that we're in. So I think that the opportunity is much bigger than that.
What year did you pass $1 million run rate? Do you remember?
I mean, here's the thing: it's kind of like I said, like we don't actually track.
But come on, Amir, like $1 million. I get you don't track it. I understand you don't track it, but that's like a big number.
Yeah, I actually I think we probably passed that probably like in. I would just like try. I'm actually unsure. 2015 maybe, but like the thing is like we didn't I didn't even notice that because totally. I was not really focused on the number.
This is crazy. This is what's interesting to me though. You launched in 2007 as a side project. You are slugging basically, even though you had another social network, you are slugging for basically 8 years to get your first $1 million in revenue, and then over the past 4 years, you've basically 14x that. Yeah, that's what's impressive to me. I think that's a very interesting story. So, and you said you have about 200,000 customers today.
Yeah. We probably have more than that. Yeah.
Okay. So I guess what I'm going down here, the line of questioning is how many free users do you like? What's your average conversion rate from free to paid?
I mean, honestly, like the market that we're in is like brutal. It's kind of like consumer. Like it's almost like consumer. So both like the conversion rate and retention rate are really, really bad because, it's just the market you're part. So I would probably say like a few percentage we convert from free to paid. Yeah.
Okay.
And also like the retention isn't as great as like if you actually had like, businesses or enterprises using your product.
Yeah, it sounds like your growth, because you told me earlier lifetime value was about $100. So if people are paying $5 a month, that means it's 20 months of lifetime value, which means your revenue, your churn annually, what is something like 70%?
Yeah, I don't know.
Each month, how many customers do you churn?
I don't know actually. Yeah. So
how do you know that churn is bad then if you don't know what the number is?
I mean, I know that the churn is bad, like compared to the benchmark, but honestly, like I don't really care that much. Like there's some people inside the company that care more about this than me. Like, yeah.
So, why don't you care about churn? You work so hard to get customers? Don't you want them to fall in love with your product and use it forever?
I do, but I think like there's a lot of like focus on the numbers and the dashboards and stuff like that. And honestly, like, yeah.
Well, I mean, ignore the number. Ignore the number.
Yeah.
You put your life into building a great tool. Don't you want people to use it forever? Ignore what the actual CAC and LTV and churn ARPU numbers are. Don't you want people using it for a long time? Doesn't it upset you when people churn because they're basically killing your baby?
I don't really feel like that. I kind of feel like I'm creating a tool, and if people, find it useful, they find it useful. If they don't, they have other tools they can use. So that's kind of like a very, Zen-like philosophy, and I think like it makes me like sleep much better at night than kind of like like dreaming about or like nightmaring about bad churn.
What's the plan for the next year? What are you most excited about?
I mean, we really want to tackle like the collaboration space, adding like proper multiplayer sharing and Twist. Like we also have a really great ideas for asynchronous communication. So all of these, like I think actually will be kind of like just increasing our lifetime value a lot, usefulness as well. Because honestly, like creating a tool that is mostly for individuals is brutal. Like if you're doing anything, like that's not something I can recommend doing, because you have like very hard time to actually keep users because you don't have like a natural way to bring them back. Like with collaboration, it's much easier.
And your whole team, by the way, we should point to that, is fully remote, correct? You have no office?
Yeah. We have been remote since day one.
Yeah, I love that. Now, so on Twist, real quick, you said you'll break about 14 million in revenue this year. Is any of that revenue coming from Twist, or is it almost Doist?
Yeah, I mean, Twist is also like a freaking like slugfest. Like most companies would have given up by now, and it's like really brutal market as well. There's a lot of competition, but I really believe like in the asynchronous way. So I would probably say that, probably like maybe 600,000.
Run rate,
or maybe even more, like yearly. So it's like very small compared to Todoist.
Very good.
But yeah.
If someone approached, I know you want to break 100 million in revenue, Amir, but if someone came to you like Monday or one of these bigger companies and said, "Hey, we want to buy the company for $200 million, all cash up front," do you sell the company?
I would say, fuck you.
There's even to any number, you'd say, fuck you.
Yeah. Like I have already like declined. Like I don't even like entertain that those ideas.
What's the largest offer you declined?
I mean I don't even go into them. So like if somebody like sends me an email and they're interested, like I just ignore it, or like I have like a template that I send them back.
But no one's put a number in front of you?
No, because I don't even like entertain like the idea of going, because like I don't actually, why would I want to sell like this? It's kind of like my life's work. So
yep. On that note, Amir, let's wrap up with the famous 5. Number 1, what's your favorite book?
So I would probably like recommend Let My People Go Surfing by the Patagonia founder. Yeah.
Number 2, is there a CEO you're following or studying?
I really like love the podcast Invest Like the Best. I'm unsure if your listeners know it, but I would, and there's like a lot of people.
Is there a CEO you're following, though, a specific one?
I mean, I really like the Toby Lutke from Shopify. His interview there is like amazing. So probably that, and maybe also the Stripe founders.
Number 3, what's your favorite online tool for building your company besides your own?
Yeah, I would probably say like Git, and like Git workflow. So we have basically like a handbook that's kind of like versioned and lives on GitHub, but you can also use like GitLab. And that is like very powerful, because you can kind of like do the development aspects, but to like knowledge base of your company.
Amir, number 4, how many hours of sleep are you getting every night?
I'm not a great sleeper. It's just, it's not really because I work a lot, but I probably get maybe 7 hours per sleep.
And what's your situation?
7 hours.
Married, single, kids?
Oh, I'm married with 2 kids.
2 kids. And how old are you?
I'm 35.
35. Last question. What's something you wish you knew when you were 20?
Something, that you can probably do anything that you actually like want to do. So, I think like there's so much freedom, and a lot of people think there's like limits, and I don't really believe in that.
Guys, Doist.com, a multi-million user productivity tool, has passed $14 million in terms of run rate, up from 10 million last year. But this all started back in 2007 as a side project where he hit his first 200 customers, was profitable from day one. They've bootstrapped the company today, also now launching Twist, which is a new product line doing $600,000 a year in revenue. He says absolutely no interest in selling. Amir, thank you for taking us to the top.
Thank you for having me.
One more thing before you go. We have a brand new show every Thursday at 1 p.m. Central. It's called Shark Tank for SaaS. We call it Deal or Bust. One founder comes on, 3 hungry buyers, they try and do a deal live, and the founder shares back-end dashboards, their expenses, their revenue, ARPU, CAC, LTV, you name it, they share it. And the buyers try and make a deal live. It is fun to watch every Thursday, 1 p.m. Central. Additionally, remember, these recorded founder interviews go live. We release them here on YouTube every day at 2 p.m. Central. To make sure you don't miss any of that, make sure you click the subscribe button below here on YouTube, the big red button, and then click the little bell notification to make sure you get notifications when we do go live. I wouldn't want you to miss breaking news in the SaaS world, whether it's an acquisition, a big fundraise, a big sale, a big profitability statement, or something else. I don't want you to miss it. Additionally, if you want to take this conversation deeper and further, we have by far the largest private Slack community for B2B SaaS founders. You want to get in there. We've probably talked about your tool if you're running a company or your firm if you're investing. You can go in there and quickly search and see what people are saying. Sign up for that at nathanlatka.com/Slack. In the meantime, I'm hanging out with you here on YouTube. I'll be in the comments for the next 30 minutes. Feel free to let me know what you thought about this episode. And if you enjoyed it, click the thumbs up. We get a lot of haters that are mad at how aggressive I am on these shows, but I do it so that we can all learn. We have to counter those people. We got to push them away. Click the thumbs up below to counter them and know that I appreciate your guys' support. All right, I'll be in the comments. See ya.